Hi, welcome back to my head series. We're gonna talk about in this lesson we're gonna talk about head gestures and likeness because I know everybody drawing portrait they would like to capture likeness. So I will show you guys what did that mean to capture likeness and also reinforce the gestures within the drawing. So besides give likeness and also give some characters to the portraits. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this a frontal view in portrait. So like what I like to do again, I'm not gonna take this drawing to a full rendering. So I would start my head a roughly a oval shapes, and like I mentioned before, it allowed me to give me the freedom to see how large, how small I want the head to be composed on my page. Because I'm not committed to the drawing yet. I can make it smaller if I want. I can make it larger if I want. But the next thing is that I need some straights, because in the egg is like there's no structure to it, although we can have the axis feel like it's upright. But first thing, let's put down a center lines. The next thing I need to do, I need to go to the bottom half to apply some straights, and I tend to like to do it at the jaw section, because on the upper part you can see the hair, it gets so abstract. I don't like to go for that on the top. Like here, I think right away we get the some structure to it. And if we look at the hair, although like I say, it's the silhouettes can get pretty round and hard to put a clear kind of guidelines down. But if we look at the sideburn, not the sideburn, sorry, the temple line, then we can still find some clear edges, clear sharp edges, somewhat straight. And so I can kind of go for that. Here you can see it's quite straight right there. And I always try to start with the largest shape. That means for heads it would be hair and the facial shapes. Don't start with a round egg and just start rendering on your features. I have seen often students do that, but that does not give you the likeness. The likeness is all coming to the shapes and how accurate the shape looks and how you design them. Okay. So next thing I'll do is that I can use this core shadow comes in and finding my eyebrow lines right there, and I can go right into that keystone. Well, in this case, I have such a large shadow mask. What I can even do, I can even do this for now, and then I guess I can find a smaller feature within it. And here it's going to be our eye lines. And I see a core shadow of a nose. I'm going to put that down and kind of help me to guide to where roughly the nose is going to be. and get that cat shadow from bottom of the nose. They're gonna swing right to my lips. And you can see from the wing of the nose to the corner of the lips, you can also get this triangle relationship. So it can help you to see how wide and where to place the the corner of the lips, and it works well for front view. You can do that in 3/4 view too. Although the side that away from us are usually I compare that to my eyes and instead compare it to my nose. Just putting down some shadows. So the eye is going to be right here, and you can see the other one is going to sit right, about right here. And we talk about, defining the place of the eyes. Well, beside we have this keystone. You can definitely see this keystone sits right in here. Here's my eyebrow line. Let me refine that a little bit. Here's our eyebrow line. The eyebrow is going to sit on top of the eyebrow line. Not quite, that's idea not quite exact. Actually, the eyebrow comes below the eyebrow line and it goes over it. But usually, just for not get it too complicated, top of the eyebrow line. And then you can see here's the core shadow from the forehead will come down, and all this is going to drop into a shadow side. So I can just blast that in first. And then here's the corner of our nose, and all this here is going to drop down to our shadows. The ball of the nose, so I'm going to loop this, feel this roundness, and it's going to sit on the side of the ball and also the bottom of the ball. You see the ball of the nose, you can see that bottom plane right there, and it's going to rise up and it's going to go back right to the nostril. And then here's the cat shadow. Okay. The upper lips, you can see it's right here. He has a thinner upper lips, and the cat shadow below the nose drop into the philtrum and the catch over to the side. And you got this dimple right there, give you a deeper shadow on the corner of the lips. These are light sources from our right. I'm going to keep some light on the lower lips towards the right side. I need to double check again to see if the overall, proportion is accurate. So I'm going to redefine some of the, for example, this edge right there. Now this edge right here. That kind of helps to frame, besides framing the face, it also kind of helps to push out this, push out my cheekbone and really kind of brings out the facial shapes. And when I render the hair, I just kind of follow the gesture of the hair. It looks like he had this. Looks like he just woke up, and so his hair all kind of goes a little bit messy and goes up like this. Just drop all of this. So I'm thinking in terms of mask, all my shadow mask versus my light mask. Just we talk about this. Well, I talk about this in the light and shadow lesson. You can go back to the lesson and kind of review it and look at it. And now I need to check to see if my bigger shapes are pretty accurate. Does it need more structures, or does it need more kind of tailor on the shape itself, or if it looks pretty good, then I can go into maybe my smaller shape. But I still, when I say in gestures, I'm not just talking about the gesture of the center of the head. I'm also talking about the gesture and the rhythm, how every part flow and how every part work cohesively. Because everything you mark, every mark you made, there's a certain rhythm to it. This hair right here is gonna flow this way. These hair is gonna swing up this way, and this probably gonna swing down. And when each gesture flow, you need to ask yourself where it take you to. It's gonna take you to another elements, and so you need to make sure that the element still have to work, cohesively with everything else. Still have to work, along with that flow. So what I mean is that I put that ear canal here, but I also need to see how that flow to my rest of my features. So, for example, like eyebrow, it take you down to the end of the sideburn, and that's gonna take you to, again, the other side of this ear. Always be aware of your silhouettes. Okay, so this is not good, what I just did here. If you look at the hair and the top of the ear, everything's just gonna blend into this mesh. That means there's no identity to it, to anything. So what I need to do, if we look at a reference, if this is something you want to do, just you want to set that back, and it's something that's not important to you, that's fine. But then if you want to, that ear to be part of a silhouette, and the one that, to be part of your characters, that we might want to make sure you clarify that. Same as this earlobe on the bottom that attached to the cheek. that negative space, that rise up and falls down, that triangle negative space. Again, give a characters a likeness and also a directions, like everything complete this triangle shape down to the ear. Say the tear dot lines out right about where the wing of the nose. And here's eyeball. So all I need to do, since I know this is my beginning of my eyeball, here's the end of it. All I need to do, just kind of draw the eyelid over. Let me get that keystone a little more clear. I'm looking at the shadow shapes that cast underneath the eyebrow. I look at this negative space right here where the skin folds in. You can see how much that space there. Okay, so I'm just basically, again, kind of try to match my dark and light relationship. And we will get into the, the feature, like, so again, now I'm just gonna kind of lightly put a tone that indicate the lower eyelid. And here is you can see a strong shadow that casts over, but I want to make sure these eyelid falls kind of equally. I got a little highlight there. I'm just gonna outline that. And double check. And you always have to, double check to see the overall. A lot of time when we work on the smaller details, we tend to kind of zoom in to look at that specific. Now we have to zoom out to see what's the overall in comparison. Sometimes you can see, for example, like right here, you have to find loss and firm edge around the hair. Because overall, obviously, you don't want all hard edge and then feel like you're wearing this this wig, it didn't feel quite natural because the hair naturally grow off on the scalp. So, but then if everything's soft, like I said, we lost some of the structures. And you can look at your reference or look at your models to see, and play with the difference. If you see a softer area, then make something else next to it firm. Don't keep it all soft. And make sure I'll make everything a little bit different than everything else. For example, that little curl the hair, make this one a little bit longer than this. And make this distance a little bit different than that distance. Something round and something give a point. And every time when you're dealing with a point, I'm always look diagonally to see if I can relate that point diagonally to some other area. It'll help to kind of anchor the relationships. See, I'm always looking for that relationships. Something angle, something straight, something round or something angle again. Something really dark, again, to really push out that cheekbone, because that is part of the most important structures is that cheekbone. I want to keep that firm and brings out that cheek. So it's on this side. And now I'm gonna go more careful in depth, punching some of this area, looking to my shadow shapes, and to see. Let me start with the shadow side first, so I can punch everything in a little more clear. And then see, if you look at the forehead core shadows, you're gonna see this little zigzag, especially right at the eyebrow. You're gonna have this little bump that kicks back, and the reason why, that the first lesson I talk about, there's a visor goes over like our eyebrow lines. That's what when this shadow meet that visor, it kicks over. You have two. You have one, like I said, above the eyebrow. You have one within the eyebrow and the eye line. Kind of goes in here. Here's our eye line. One goes right in here. That goes right over your eyelid. The other one, like I say, goes over to the side, to the side of your face. And you can see if you follow this rhythm, it's gonna when you bring it down, it's gonna take you to right where the apex of the cheekbone, and this apex is gonna lines up to where your ear canal is. That's basically your zygomatic arch. And also, if you look, one of the things they organic object would do is it's gonna kind of bounce back and forth. We call that rhythm. You said you have eyebrow bounce this way, or shadow of eyebrow kind of kick this way, and you can look. The shadow is gonna kick back this way again, and the cast shadow is gonna kick back again into your tear dot. So you get this kind of zigzag actions, going on. That actually will keep your drawing more, more exciting. if you can, so you can see this again. You got cast shadow over your eyeball, and then it's going to cast over your lower eyelid. Okay, you got this is eyeball. This is this portion right here. It's your lower eyelid. See, you got cast shadow over the eyeball, over the lower eyelid, and then catch over into the onto your face. Again, since the light source is on our right hand side, we can make everything on the right side just a little bit darker. Do the same thing. Unify your shadow shape. Create the most interesting, most dynamic shadow shape. Or not just shadow shape, any shapes. Kick out, kick back in, bring the back out. Like I mentioned before, I look at how much. So, like for example, start off a tear dot right here. How much white you see of the eyes, and then that's where I decide to place my iris. This side is very little. This side had a little more. The pupil is the darkest, so I'm gonna punch in that really dark. I can even probably come back with my black, and there you will get a gradations from the top, and then gradate down, and you got receive some reflected light on the bottom. So what happens in here, we talk about here, you got the, well, let me define the eyebrow line a little bit right here. So I want to make sure the eyebrows still need to sit on like that, on the top of the eyebrow lines. Here you follow that, here's your keystone. Then you got this part, this portion going to continue come down and going to extend down to our nose. Make sure all the triangle you're seeing here all going to be somewhat a triangle shape. Sorry, the shape is shadow shape you see in there all going to be somewhat a triangle shape. That's a triangle. That's a triangle, right? And that's also a triangle. Even these, that is a triangle in there. So this is gonna loop around, wrap around into the socket. So you get this socket eyes protecting within the socket. There's the keystone. Here is a little bit darker because it's a down plane. Here's the other side of the nose. You can kind of see that's where the base of the nose, right here. And then it's gonna come to the front and really quickly. Actually, there's a corner plane before you drop down to the side plane. What I like to do, because I know the overall the head is somewhat like an egg, everything on the side has to be darker. So I can actually right away, if I want to, I can actually put a tone just on the side, just to keep everything feels a little more, has a little more volumes. Okay. Well, like I said, I don't want to take this as a rendering lesson. So I think at least at this point, we capture at least the likeness of the models. And all I need to do is I can just take my darker, charcoal to punch in some darker area, and that way kind of brings that. And then again, take it slow and still be aware of all this more the nuance of shape and shape relationship, and and I can bring out the likeness at the end and bring out I give a nice refined drawing to this portrait. So let's see if work with another image.